Hey everybody, so the lighting's a little bit better today. I was playing with where I was in the room, and I'm playing Vigilante on TurboGrafx 16 today. So like usual, I've never played this game. Let's give it a shot here. Wow, they actually used that term. I will not repeat it. So I can't go up and down. Oh, I like the animation. Oh, okay. So you can throw like massive haymakers. Bunch of token white dudes. I wonder if my guy's like Asian or something. Nunchucks. I don't want to guess because... Oh, dude! Oh my gosh! Alright. There we go. Ooh, yes. Feeling like... Oh, they grab your neck. They're pretty easy, but you gotta hit them like spot on. If they grab your neck, you're dead. Oh! Do some Bruce Lee action here. TurboGrafx 16 actually had some pretty decent graphics. So, I was very sheltered when it came to consoles. It was like Sega Genesis, it was NES, Sega... So stay away from doors. Alright. Man, I already lost. I'm going by a club. Oh, we ran away. Dude, this guy's huge. It's like Andre the Giant. But it was like NES, got him. Super NES, and then I played a little bit of Sega Genesis with friends, and that was like pretty much it. And then it was N64, like my friends had that, and then we eventually got it. And then I always had that friend that had, you know, that alternative friend that had the PS1 because I was never a PlayStation person. But I missed a ton of stuff in the 90s, and I think it was basically because my mom was pretty strict about consoles. She's like, you can only have one, so we tried to make the best decision, but also I didn't get Game Informer. I think I got Game Pro. I remember getting Game Pro, and I would always look at the games and I was like, I really want to get this. But I'd be able to get like one game, whereas some families, you know, the kid would just... I remember when I was in elementary school, there was a guy I went to school with, and his parents were like, you can't watch any TV during the week. But when he went into his basement, this was in the 90s, he had like, I swear, it had to have been at least a third of every NES game created. And his mom had this thing where as long as he got his homework done, he could just play until he died. And he'd play everything, and nothing was really special to him because he was just like, oh yeah, I've already beaten that. But my family was like, you can watch a little bit of TV every day, but not on Sundays. They were really strict about that. But I was only able to have like a certain number of games, so like birthday, Christmas, and then if my brothers wanted a game, I had two brothers, they could... Oh man, I'm getting my butt kicked here. They could ask for it, but they almost never did, so it was just me asking for games. And this guy's hard. So it took a while, or I could buy it with my own money and you get an allowance, and I never wanted to do that because I wanted my relatives to buy it for me. You know, kids are scammers, right? But anyway, so I only had this SNES for the longest time, and then eventually we got the N64, and then we went on to get the PS2. We got a couple of PS2s, and then later, like my brothers got PS3, but I think that was after I'd already gone off to like school or whatever. Like college or something, I don't know, I don't remember. But then at that point, and then my friend at work was like, "Hey, do you want this PS3?" And I honestly haven't played much of it. I'm more into like trying older stuff. PS3 is great, but it's a serious time investment to really get involved with some of these games. I'm gonna try this game one more time because you can play for like 20, 30, 40 hours on some of these newer games, whereas retro games are just a quick like, oh, I'm gonna play for 10 minutes. It almost never ends up being 10 minutes, but you know what I mean. Unless you want to do a full playthrough, you can just kind of experiment with a game. That's what I really like about retro games. But that being said, I never knew about TurboGrafx 16, and then back in the day I didn't know about Sega Master System. I played Atari at a friend's house in college. Atari was before my time, and I never played Atari. So, and even when he showed me Atari, I was like, it's okay. I'm not really much of an Atari person. It's too simple. When I was really young, I mean, I remember like the earliest game I ever played was PC version of Ninja Gaiden, which is not good, and then the PC version of no. Okay, sorry. The PC version of the first Turtles game, which was basically the exact same as the NES version. So I never beat that as a kid. I used to get so frustrated. At the time, that game had 2 enormous floppy disks. Just completely massive. Oh, I lost it. I should have done that. But they were huge, and I used to play that game like all the time, and I could never beat it. It's hard. Dude, this guy's like pretty awesome. He's kicks butt. Oh, a gun? And I was invincible, and he still hurt me. Oh, these guys are hard. But, so my first TurboGrafx 16 game was Splatterhouse, and, you know, I went on Reddit and was just like, hey, look, I tried out Splatterhouse, and people were like, oh, dude, welcome to the club. They were really nice. Like, TurboGrafx 16 people on Reddit are actually really, really friendly. But the ones that weren't that friendly, NES, believe it or not, and Atari. Like Atari, and then Xbox. Xbox was kind of... You get a couple of message boards on there where people are like really particular about the material that you put on there, and if you have anything related to a video that's like not uploaded directly to the site, or some source other than YouTube, they get all pissed off. So anyway, TurboGrafx, everybody was really nice. NES was just like, meh. There's a lot of NES snobs out there. I find the consoles that not a lot of people know about, that people tend to be a little bit more like, hey, welcome to the club, you know, almost like they're trying to keep an endangered species alive. But you go to like a well-known one, and everybody's like, I've already seen that, I want to see stuff that blows my mind. And the Atari people were just like, what, you don't know how to solder and repair your own Atari, and you're showing me something that's related to an Atari review, like a site that reviews Atari, but it's not like directly related to Atari. Like, I'm gonna rip your post off of here. So I didn't really have a good experience with Atari on Reddit, but when you go to there's a couple other sites you can talk about games too, like Quora's okay. Quora's kind of like a wide spectrum. Like somebody asks a question, you get an answer. I like the Hitmakers. I love the way they animated that. He's just like throwing his body weight in that. But you can also go to like Fandom. Fandom's actually kind of a cool site where people can just like casually go like, hey, but there's not as much traffic there, but it has like almost everything on it. And then there's Gasp 4chan, but I don't like to go there because you get some really creepy subjects. get creepy subjects anywhere on the internet, but 4chan's like really bad, so I don't go there. I think I've been there like once or twice just to see what it was about, but then I'm just like, whoa, I don't like what it's about. But yeah, so TurboGrafx 16 is definitely one of those things that, it has the same capability as, oh my gosh, these guys are, there we go, got them both on the same side. It has the same capability of, like, games I remember playing in the 90s, but it just wasn't as well known. And then, like, same with Sega CD, so Sega CD, this reminds me of, like a Jet Li movie or something, like there's like two brothers or something. There was like a Romeo Must Die, or I forget what movie it was, where there were these two brothers, and he was fighting both of them at the same time. There was like a tall and a short one. These guys are the same size though. But, when you look at, like Sega CD, you had to basically add all these peripherals onto the Sega Genesis, and like the big issue that Sega made there was their market had to already have the Sega Genesis, whereas if they just they just created a console like the Sega CD separately, and you could buy it separately, they would have gotten a lot more money, because people were like, by the time that stuff came out, and I got this from ABGN back when it was actually good. But, you know, by the time all this stuff came out, you know, next-gen consoles were coming out, so people weren't really interested in buying that, which is really a shame. Better not get from me. Oh, no, please. Okay. It's kind of hard, actually. I always thought Sega CD was pretty cool. I want to explore some of those games, so I'll be playing some of those eventually. Same with Jaguar. Jaguar to me was really advanced, but it had very low popularity, and I think part of the way it was released, Jaguar was Atari, right? So anyway, it had seriously. Oh, am I able to jump? I'm gonna lose a lot of life here if I can't figure this out. Ah! I died again? Alright. So I think I'm done, but anyway, that was a fun game. So that is Vigilante on TurboGrafx 16, 1989. For that time period, this is an insanely good game. Like the graphics and everything. But anyway, it was fun. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to come out with some more content pretty soon here. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and be on the lookout for more stuff.